Hey, Algebra students, I'm excited to do this example with you because this is one of those things that shows you why you don't have to cover everything to pass the GED. This one example here uses three big skills. It doesn't really matter which unit you learn it in if you learn it. Let's take a look and see what I mean. It says the expression 1/2, and I'm going to say times the quantity because I have a lot going on in that parentheses. So the expression 1/2 times the quantity of B1 plus B2, closed quantity, times H, can be used to find the area of a trapezoid, where B1 is the length of the first base, B2 is the length of the second base, and H is the height of the trapezoid. A certain trapezoid has a height of 19 millimeters and base lengths of 23 millimeters and 27 millimeters. So much information, no directions yet. Let's keep going. Evaluate the expression. There it is. Looked like a word problem, but we've been doing this all along. Evaluate the expression for mystery solved. H is 19. Mystery solved. B1 is 23. And careful, that little 1 down on the bottom, that's not math to do, guys. That's counting. When I say B1, B2 in algebra, I'm just saying there's a first B, in this case a first base, and a second B, and they're two different numbers. Okay, so I have B1 is 23 and B2 is 27. This isn't really a word problem at all, but you know, it would come up in the word problem section because we have this word problem interpretation. What it is an evaluating expressions problem. You might say, well, Kate, it's also a geometry problem. Yeah, it is. But if you know this one skill, you don't really have to know much about word problems or geometry because there's how to do this problem in the language of algebra. This expression tells you what to do. We're going to evaluate this expression for these values that we found in the problem. We know what all the letters are equal to. So first great step whenever we know what a letter is, we do a trade. We call that a substitution. I don't have to call B1 anymore because I know what he is. According to this, B1 is 23. Now, of course, I'm not going to lose my numbers or my operations, so I'll keep my plus. But I don't have to call B2 anymore because I know what that is as well. According to this, B2 is 27. Again, I'm not going to lose the other symbols besides the variables, so I'll keep my parentheses. But I don't have to call H anymore. He's not a mystery. I know what he is. Well, I would know what he is, except I kind of marked over it. Oh, it's a 19. So, 19. Now you might say, well, Kate, this math looks super duper ugly and I hate it. And I say, that's totally chill. Okay, the main thing I need from you here is your algebra skills. If you're not that hot at arithmetic, if this is intimidating you, that's cool. Type that entire expression exactly the way you see it into your calculator. I'm going to simplify it by hand because it's a nice review of the order of operations. But you guys really pick up your calculator. Make sure that if you type this entire expression in, you get the same answer that I get when I do it by hand. Okay, so I'm going to start with groupings. There is some math to do in the parentheses this time. So this time there is a grouping in there. 23 plus 27. Let's see, what do I get? 40 and 10, so 50. And I don't care how you get that answer, guys. Keep that in parentheses because I haven't dealt with the multiplication yet. Keep 1/2, keep 19. Multiplying by 1/2 does not freak me out because I remember, like from lesson 1, it's an act of scaling. If I'm taking half of $50, I'm scaling $50 to 1/2 its size. I get 25, and I still need to multiply that by 19. Ugh, 25 by 19. Oh, I could do side work. 25 times 19. But I think I make more errors. I'll do it this way. This is the way most of you guys would do it. So 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 2 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 1 times 5 is 5. Oh, look at me squishing it in. 1 times 2 is 2. So I get 5, 7, 475. 475. This is a word problem, so it's a good habit to ask yourself 475 what? You probably won't have to answer that question on the GED, but it's just a good habit. So it said that that expression was used to find the area. We were determining area. Area is measured in square units, so I'm going to write the millimeter symbol or millimeter abbreviation, but I'm going to put a little square on that so I don't have to spell out the word square millimeters. That's just how you write that in the language of math. That's not math to do, okay, guys? This says square millimeters. All right. Done. Done. Wasn't as bad as it looked. Even when I simplified it by hand, it wasn't that bad. I think that just goes to show you we tend to stop thinking straight when we panic. Like a lot of the things we think are hard are not nearly as hard as they look if you speak the language of algebra, right? It's a language. So I always think I like to use this example. If somebody walks up to you and they speak in a language you don't know, they walk up to you and maybe they say, uno, dos, tres. Oh, sorry for the accent, you guys. But if you don't speak Spanish, you don't know what they said. It seems complex. It seems confusing. Whereas they said something simple. They gave you simple information. They said 1, 2, 3. It's the same way in algebra. Most of the algebra that's on the GED, I'm giving you simple information. But because you guys haven't learned the language, you're overcomplicating things. Okay? So we learn a little bit about the language. We lose a lot of our fear. And all this algebra gets a lot simpler. All right, you guys. Happy learning.